Hi, Ty.
Hey,
How's it going?
pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
You got it. Man, the water's fine. Temperature's just right.
Awesome. Ty May and the Fish Bowl. Welcome. I just want to say that I am a huge, huge fan, and I've been following your career for a long, long time. The first question that I
Uh,
wanted to ask you is what got you interested in film?
okay. Well, thanks for following me. Appreciate the support. Film, I wasn't interested in film, at first as an actor because I'm from New York. So theater was my main squeeze as it may. And then I went to Los Angeles to do a play called In Perpetuity Throughout the Universe in 1988. And I had I think I've done maybe like two films before that. So there was a writer's strike in 1988. And when I went out to Los Angeles to do a play, well, actually it wasn't even in Los Angeles. It was at South Coast Rep in Orange County. So that's even something that's kind of far away from Los Angeles, to say the least, with the traffic and everything. And normally when you do a play at South Coast, it's hard pressed to get anybody to come and see it, from town, that's in the business. But because of the fact that there was a writer's strike, everybody came because there was nothing going on. I think that was the first extended writer's strike. I think it lasted for like about 4 to 6 months. So there really nothing was going on in town. I mean, there was no TV, there was no film, nothing. So everybody in town decided that, that they were too bored to stick around Los Angeles. And they came down to Orange County to watch this play I'm in that was written for me. And I played like 4 characters. So they thought I was a pretty decent actor. I would have these meetings in the daytime, because theater's only at night. So unless it's the weekend, you have the couple of matinees. But on the weekday, I would drive up to Los Angeles and have these meetings with producers, directors, and casting directors that had no work for me. They just said, come and just chat because we're bored and I'm sure there's nothing to do for you in Orange County. So we did kind of, did meet a lot of people during that time. And the show, I believe, closed on sometime at the end of October on a Sunday. And that same day, the writers went back to work. So I was working on Wednesday, the following week. And I never left. I kind of got stuck in LA and really enjoying doing film and television because of the fact that it has such a far reach than theater. If you do a theater piece, even if it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, I mean, so many people can only see you in a given period of time. But if you do something meaningful in film and television, you get to see by millions, And I think that's a really important revelation for me because it allows me to kind of, help at least change the perception, of who we are. And given that opportunity, I wasn't going to let that go. So that's how I started doing film and television.
Awesome. Very cool. I just have to say something significant about the year 1988. That was actually the year I was born.
Are you kidding me?
No. April 18th.
Congratulations. How cool is that?
Yeah.
You're just a baby.
Yep.
You're a young man.
Right.
Wow, cool. Great year, 1988.
I like to say that the generation born between like 1987 to like 1990 really had like the best time to kind of grow up. I mean, movies were great, music was great. It was just in time for the technical revolution, and we're also still old enough to remember, the whole Office Space joke, and dial up and the hassles of waiting, sometimes, half an hour for something to load.
Copy that. Yeah. That's funny that you bring that up. I remember those floppy disks.
Right. I totally do. I remember playing the Oregon Trail at
Uh-huh.
school on a floppy disk.
Mm. Oh man, my goodness sake.
I also remember one of the marketing campaigns with Independence Day
Uh-huh.
was they had certain action figures that were
Uh-huh.
released with the film,
Uh-huh.
and if you got like the little more expensive one, you got not a floppy disk but a hard disk to play a Independence Day game
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that was
Oh my God, that's so
associated with the
cool.
film. That they you don't even hear that anymore.
Right. Okay, excellent, man. That's cool.
Definitely. The first film that I
Yeah.
like to talk about, which is actually one of the first movies that I saw you in, being born in 1988, and it's
Uh-huh.
still one of my favorite action movies,
Uh-huh.
and that's Rapid Fire.
Wow, dude. Come on, you bringing back some history here. Loved that movie. Loved it.
What was it like working on the film? And I mean, Brandon
Yeah.
Lee and Powers Booth and
Yeah.
just the whole cast in general.
Yeah. Phenomenal, really. And it's the first time I was an antagonist in a film. So for the longest time, I didn't want to do anything in that genre. I mean, I didn't want to do action adventures. I felt that, if I want to be a martial artist, I will be a martial artist. If I want to be an actor, I want to act. And I was not going to rely on my physical abilities to really make a living and in that sense, because I really want to cut my teeth in acting, as opposed to fighting. And also, I didn't particularly want to be a villain in anything, because I felt that there were too many of us who were stuck in doing that, and I avoided it like the plague. I really didn't want to do it. So I set these 3 rules for myself. I said, listen, if you want me to be a bad guy, first of all, the lead has to be Asian or Asian American. That's number 1. Second is that there are no Asian or Asian American women victimized. 3 is that there's a balance of good and evil of my race in the film. And guess what? Along came Rapid Fire. And I said, oh my God, here you are. You got Brandon Lee, Asian American, as the hero, right? Everybody who's victimized in that film are like a bunch of bad guys, like mafia and Chinese mafia, Italian mafia. And there were no Asian or Asian American women that were, victimized in any way. So, and then there is Francois Chow as the cop. So I said, guess what? And Brandon Lee as the hero. You know what? That's a perfect storm for me to be a bad guy, because I know it's fun to play a bad guy. I know I will go to town playing a bad guy. So really, under those circumstances, and I had a great meeting with Dwight Little, the director of Rapid Fire. And he's another guy who an SC grad, knows a lot about films, and I trusted him, and he really gave me the opportunity, pretty much carte blanche on what I wanted to do in terms of the Kingman Tao, this gangster, and really working with Brandon is just kind of full circle for me, because I met Bruce Lee when I was 15 years old in New York City. So really, to really have the opportunity to work with Brandon was just crazy fortunate for me, and Powers, and Powers was a friend. So I knew him before the film. So that was crazy coincidence there. And Kate and Francois and Raymond Barry. All these guys are just, Nick Mancuso, wonderful actor and so personable, really. I made some really long-term friendships, really, from that film. Unfortunately, some of them, left us a little too soon. So, yeah, it was a great experience. Can't complain about that.
That's awesome. I actually had the pleasure of talking with Alex Perez last night about Brandon's work on The Crow and how essential that movie is and nostalgic.
Yes. Yeah.
I was a huge fan of his and Powers Booth.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Powers Booth.
Yeah.
I would have really loved to have interviewed him.
Yeah.
But
great guy too. You would totally just fall in love with him. He's just one of those charismatic dudes, man. That's like heart of gold, you know. Yeah, and I miss him. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. The next film that I wanted to talk about is another one from my childhood that, just like Rapid Fire, whenever it's on, I watch it. That is Chain Reaction.
You were what, 10 years old? That's so funny. Yes. What do you want to talk about?
We're working with Keanu, Brian Cox, Morgan Freeman, Rachel Weisz.
Hello. What more do you need to say? That's like an all-star cast right there, man. Shoot. Fantastic. I mean, working, and Andrew Davis. Don't forget, director.
Right.
Okay. Powerhouse. I mean, and Andy is so cool as a director. I mean, he is so generous and calm, right? I mean, you kind of expect somebody who does do films like that would be running all over the place. But Andy is like he behaves like a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's his grandchildren. It's so nice. So, and of course, working with Keanu is always a pleasure. Because I don't think he get enough credit. For being such a wonderful actor. I think people give him a lot of bull about what he do, because he's so successful and he's so good looking. On top of that, and being poly-Asian as well. So it's a real pleasure. And he's a real student. I'm telling you, this guy works so hard. I mean, he really, just as an actor, I can't think of someone who works harder than Keanu. And of course, Morgan is Morgan, right? I mean, just to be able to share the screen with Brian and Morgan Freeman it's an honor, So the film itself, I wish it had a little more play, and it's about a great subject matter, sonoluminescence. Come on, man, you're talking about clean energy.
Right.
It's like I'm telling you. I mean, I'm just surprised that the science world hasn't really caught up into, really exploring sonoluminescence. It's really something that I think it would solve the energy crisis in a heartbeat, So that's what that film was about, So fusion energy, come on, the science was good and lots of action and Rachel Weisz's first American film. I think she just came over film with Bertolucci. And there she was, this British woman, I mean, she looked like a child, when she came on the set. I said, she's our heroine? Really? How old are you? She was adorable. Oh my God, she was so cool. And then, she's just like, it's interesting because here you are, Rachel is now, a bona fide star, right? I mean, but back in the day, when we were doing Rapid Fire, she was like a child. It was so beautiful. It was so, innocent and pleasurable to work with. So really, all in all, that was again, knock on wood, right? I'm just really lucky.
Very cool. Again, it's still one of my favorite movies to watch, and the movies of like the 80s and 90s just they hold up more, I think, than a lot of movies of today. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because the subject matter, and then you have like actual sets and stuff like that just make movies look a little more aesthetically pleasing. And the stories were like more freedom, even though there's always been restrictions with producers and stuff. It seems like again, just like along with music and in the 90s, like movies and music just seem to be at their peak. And there's so many good movies that came out of the 90s that anytime they're on TV. I just, yep, I'm watching that.
I'm glad. I mean, because a lot of times, you kind of not know, whether or not the audience are into those things after some decades, right? I mean, you can never tell. So I really appreciate that feedback, and I know we were very proud of it, I mean, the conditions were awful. We shot it in the winter in Chicago. It was so cold, man. I mean, telling you, I was telling Morgan one time, he walks into the trailer, makeup trailer, and I've already been working. And I said, Morgan, what expression would you like on your face? He looked at me like he thought I was crazy. He said, why are you asking me this? I said, because whatever that is, that's it. Your face is not going to be able to move. It was 45 below.
Oh, wow.
It was like, and he looked at me like, no. I said, yeah, because you just got dropped off from your warm car into this warm trailer. But once we go outside and we said, when Andy said, action, whatever face you got, get ready, that's it. That's how you're going to look. Because your mouth can hardly move. Really, it was that cold. I remember it was a steady cam shot. The steady cam operator, man, I mean, he had to stand after Andy said cut, he had to stand next to the heater to thaw out his hand because he couldn't move it.
Oh, wow.
It was on the stem. It was on the stem of the camera. It was like, oh my, it was really, I mean, that was a tough shoot. Okay. That's all I can say.
Well, it definitely holds up in my opinion, and great movie. The next one that I wanted to talk to you about is another classic from my childhood. And that is Dante's Peak.
Wow. Okay. Dante's Peak also is a unique film. I mean, Pierce Brosnan just came off of a James Bond movie. Okay, you're talking about a rock star. You're talking about James Bond. And he was driving. We were shooting in Idaho, and he was driving that BMW that he drove in the film. They gave it to him, right? So obviously, Idaho's got some great highways. Windy roads. I mean, you're talking about next to Montana, and believe me, Pierce got pulled over quite a few times. That car can go. Okay, of course, as soon as the state trooper comes over and he knows that, okay, wow, there's James Bond in the car, I think he never got a ticket. So I think he took a lot of pictures with cops. So really that was the fun part, I mean, spending like, 2 months in Idaho and 3 months in LA. That's a lot of time to spend with a group of people. And you couldn't find a better group of people, and we were playing this group of volcanologists. I think still today is one of those films is so true to the science. We spent a lot of time with all the volcanologists at the USGS, in Vancouver, Washington. And they were so generous in sharing their time with us. And the fact that they were so underfunded. This is the only group of people that travels around the world to let you know that, get the hell out of there because this puppy's going to blow. They made all their own equipments. Because they were so underfunded that there was no money for them. I mean, a lot of the stuff was created by these guys in some garage, and then they bring it to the lab and go, listen, I think I found this seismology tester. I kind of just put it together. Let's test this, see if it works. I was so happy that the fact that we were able to do a film about these guys. And they never get the credit, that you never see them getting the highest civilian honor, and I'm glad we did that film, to kind of pay homage to them. And the other important thing for me is probably, not so important for anyone else, is the fact that we were just a group of scientists, and we were only seen as such. No one ever questioned, no one asked us what ethnicity you are, that we were just a group of American scientists. Nobody said, okay, where are you from? No, that was irrelevant, so the color of our skin was not a factor. And what's amazing was that Roger Donaldson, the director, the one who, the director who directed Dante Speak, always treated us as just this one big family. And he never asked. I mean, normally, you get these questions all the time, where's the best Chinese food? And I'm like, oh, dude, come on, man. Really? Do we have to go down that road now? I kind of like steak and potatoes, So in that sense, I really appreciated that. And that the fact that the American audience get a chance to see this group of guys as just Americans, without really questioning whether or not, what ethnicity is he? So that kind of thing. So that was pleasurable, the science and the fact that we were seen as Americans.
That's awesome. Again, I think the film still holds up. I remember going on the ride, the short little tour ride that they had version of it at Universal Studios.
That's right. Oh my God. I know. I don't know about that ride, man.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like the movie, but
oh man, we spent a lot of money in that movie too.
It was good memories, and I really still enjoy that movie to this day. And Brosnan is the James Bond that I grew up with. And I share stuff on Facebook all the time. And the thing that I keep seeing like articles about of like all the James Bonds is like he had the highest kill count. And, even compared to Daniel Craig, like Brosnan holds, out of all the movies, he holds the highest 007 kill count.
I didn't realize that. Oh, that's so cool. And don't forget Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. And
Grant Heslov.
Yep. I am obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger. My first R-rated movie was Total Recall at age 5.
Yeah.
And I've been obsessed with Schwarzenegger ever since. And I'm so excited that Linda Hamilton's return for the new Terminator movie that Cameron came back to work on, and it looks fantastic.
Hell, they need to hire me. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fantastic. No, lovely people too. On top of it,
the next 2 films I want to talk about, again, really gems from my childhood, is Rush Hour, specifically Rush Hour, and then Rush Hour 3. I love the Rush Hour movies. I love the character progression with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan through each one. And I happen to actually be Jewish. The things that I found like most funny through the progression of Carter's character was how he keeps ordering the kosher meal.
Oh man, it's too funny. That's also a love fest. I mean, that film. Yeah. And again, there's historical significance to Rush Hour, right? I mean, there has never been a film before Rush Hour that there was an Asian and an African American lead in a movie ever. Used to be like a lot of time in Salt and Pepper. You got the Lethal Weapons. You got the I Spies. But never ever before Rush Hour that you have an Asian and African American lead. Okay. And funny as heck, both of them. Usually just one straight guy and one funny guy, right? I mean, that's Law and Hardy, that whole kind of formula. But both of these guys are funny as heck. I mean, there wasn't one scene that we did in Rush Hour that we can keep a straight face, because these guys were that funny. Okay. I mean, and you're talking about at least 150 years of acting experience on that set. Tom Wilkinson, myself, Mark Ralston, please. If we can't keep a straight face, nobody can. And they would just have this amazing chemistry with one another. That is really special. And the fact that, that film only cost $35 million. It made 130. So you're talking about, you can recognize the fact that diversity do pay off. It's not something it's not a gimmick, It's, let's do some diversity stuff. So maybe, so we will kind of look good. But no, not only you're going to look good, you're going to make money. So really, in that sense, that was historical, And the fact that you're working with a guy like Jackie Chan, please, I mean, this dude is a maestro in physicality. I mean, he moves in a way where there's no one like him. His stuff is so kind of, it's an art form. It's not just fighting, he's fighting, but it's another level of fighting. And the fact that he can make it funny. Not too many guys can make a fight funny. They can make a fight vicious, they can make a fight brutal, they can make a fight violent, but this guy can make a fight funny as well. So really, you're talking about a really gifted physical actor. And I don't think people give him enough credit, for him as a good actor, and Jackie's a wonderful actor. I mean, he is professionally trained. He's a classically trained actor. So people don't realize that this guy came from the Beijing Opera, happens to be one of the oldest, acting theater forms in the world. It's been around for 3,000 years. So you tell me that's not a classical actor? Please, think again. So you could imagine the kind of training that this man had to go through in terms of singing, acting, and movement. So really, and Chris, of course. Chris is just funny, period. I mean, this guy's got the knack. And like I said, really difficult to keep a straight face when these two guys are on a set. So in that sense, I'm really proud of that franchise. And these boys are just phenomenal. I wish they would go ahead and do 4 and 5 like they keep on talking about before everybody retires.
Right. like I heard them talking about rebooting it with like a female lead, and I have nothing against female leading roles, but it's a matter of it's the same thing that's going to happen with Ghostbusters. It's like it's not a matter of it being an all female cast. It's a matter of dealing with a franchise and material where the two main actors of the comedic team of those movies had a certain chemistry that you just can't replace. So I'm with you. Do 4 and 5, do 6 and 7. Keep it going while everybody's still young enough to do it. I would love to see more Rush Hour.
Absolutely, because chemistry is chemistry. It really you can't reproduce it. You can't replace it. You can do something different. You could do something of the same idea, but how do you replace Lauren Hardy? How do you replace Abbott and Costello? Come on,
right?
You can't. There's no way. You cannot replace Channing Tucker. There's just no way. These two guys got it. The chemistry between Channing and Tucker, forget about it. There's no way.
Right.
Just you know what? Freeze dry these guys, man, and put them in some kind of time capsule. When they come back, they're gonna make another generation far into the future more funny.
I agree. Let's just freeze them. Let's do it.
That's right.
Awesome. A funny story about Mark Ralston. Yes. I was at Pittsburgh's Comic-Con this past weekend, and Mark was there. And
he was?
He was. And I had such a pleasure talking with him. He gave me his email, and I'm going to get him on the show as well. Mm-hmm. And then someone else, this is the perfect segue into the next film I want to talk about, was Ryan Hurst. And I just think the team of actors for the film The Ladykillers, which is actually my number one favorite role with you in it, is absolutely hysterical. I've been a fan of Tom Hanks, Marlon Wayans. I've loved Ryan since that Sci-Fi Channel miniseries Taken, and just everybody in the film was great. How can it not be, being a Coen Brothers film? I was wondering, what was your overall experience working on that film, and especially with the band of Ladykillers?
Man, that was so sick. I'm telling you now. There is nobody that makes films like the Coen Brothers, okay? I mean, you're talking about these. First of all, they're siblings, and then you have any siblings?
I have a younger sister.
Okay, well, you put two siblings in the same room for at least 12 hours a day. I mean, for 3 months. Do you think there would be a fight? I think there would be. But with the Coen brothers, not one disagreement. You're talking about two guys who are so well prepared that the entire cast is involved in every step of their character. What kind of clothes do you like to wear? What kind of fabric do you like? What color? Do you think you want some facial hair or not? I mean, all of these things are all part of this kind of inclusiveness of two people who are so self-assured about their casting that you're involved in every step of the way. Okay? That I have never done. That's the first and only time where I am that involved in a character I'm creating. The other thing is that there is no guesswork with the Coen brothers, because every day when you go to set and you have your sides, and behind the sides are the storyboards of that day. You know every shot. Every department knows every shot. So what happens? Because when everyone knows exactly what we're doing on that day, you have extra time. You can do more stuff. You can play. Normally, when you don't have that kind of organization, you're always pressed against the clock. Producers always looking at their watches and go, you know what? Let's pick it up. Let's go, man. Money's time. Time's money, right? We have never had a day on that set that was more than 12 hours. All the crew was so happy. They get to go home at 6:30 and have dinner with their family. Unheard of. You're lucky you get one day in a month you get to go home and eat with your family. Okay? Every day we were done by 6:30, because it was 6:30 start, 6:30 finish. Okay? We get to go home. And the level of work, a happy set, you got happy actor, you got happy crew, you're going to have a happy film. I mean, that film Tom's work in that film, please, not enough credit. The speeches that he had to make every day, coming in prepared pages of speeches. And fast. You're not talking about, there's no humming and ahhing in the character that he played. A complete joy to watch and be with, And every character was so distinct. There was no bleed over. There's no crossover. There's no similarities of these guys. It's so clearly defined, each one of us, J.K. Simmons, you get Ryan Hurst, everybody. It just was so kind of, iconic, yes, it's a remake, and the original was fantastic too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that was a good blueprint to come off of. But really, I mean, the Coens just basically, set these parameters where they let you go because because you're involved with so many aspects of building this character that I was wearing raw silk. He said, look, how do you feel? I said, well, he's a tunnel rat. He needs to feel like really smooth, to get to one place to another. So all my costumes were silk, raw silk. I mean, who even thinks of that stuff? When you put that on, it makes you feel different. It puts you in a space where you react and move differently than anybody else. So you're talking about a film that is so well put together and planned in every step of the way, and everybody was able to do the kind of work that they do because it was a safe environment for us to do it. And it was so crazy because we were so close. We hung out in the parking lot together. That's so sick. I'm telling you, just like you sit there and go, yo, what's up, Don? Hey, Ron. Hey, how you doing? Okay, well, it's like, what are we doing here? We're just hanging out in the parking lot. I said, you're not going back to your trailers? No, it's okay. We're all good. Normally, the doors are locked and you don't see nobody until you said, okay, guys, you got to come to the set, right? Not us. We hung out, And what's funny too is that, there's a group, it's a bunch of pranksters too. Don't really, keep your guards up because they'll pull something on you. You know what I'm saying? So really, you have that kind of set, and I think everything comes with a top. And I can't say enough for Joe and Ethan to kind of lead the way. And really, it's again, knock on wood, I'm lucky.
Awesome. Again, it's my favorite role that you've played. It's just everybody again in that movie is just so fantastic, and I think you're absolutely right. Hanks does not get the credit he deserves for that movie, especially looking like Colonel Sanders.
I know.
I mean, like when I saw the trailer for that,
Uh-huh.
I immediately lost it. I mean, I have to see this, like whatever it is, just because of what he looks like. And then I found out it was a remake, and I had to see the original and compare the two. And I mean, the Coen brothers just took that movie to a whole nother level.
And don't forget Irma P. Hall.
Right.
You need a foil, man. I mean, here you go. I'm telling you, talking about chemistry? Oof. Tom and Irma, please.
Right.
They were killing it, man. Killing it.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about two projects you have coming out. The first one is Wu Assassins and the live action remake of Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to talk to Byron Mann on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit of insight about the show and who his character was. And I was wondering if you could give my listeners an insight on what to expect with the show and who your character is.
Well, I mean, as you know, that Wu Assassins is a martial arts supernatural crime drama. Right. So you have two very popular genres, in terms of sci-fi and in terms of martial arts. And obviously, we have a crackerjack team of martial artists, in the show. Iko Uwe, Louis Tan, Catherine Whittick. I mean, come on. These guys, and Juju Chang. I mean, please, I'm telling you, you just want to make sure if you walk down the street, you want to make sure these guys are your friends. Because if not, you're going to be in trouble, because these guys can literally, kick butt, and they're really so good at it. They're so experienced, and it's a real pleasure, to have this kind of work out there, representing the martial arts world. And the mythology is amazing too, because you're talking about, it's steep in the culture steep in the Chinese culture of the five elements. Everything is based on, 5 elements, Chinese medicine, feng shui, and, all of these things are really prominent, topics in the culture. And it's no longer a foreign thing. Everybody knows about feng shui. Everybody, had dabbled into Chinese medicine in some kind of other, acupuncture, acupressure, you name it. I mean, really. So I think, most people will have a basic understanding of the 5 elements. So to bring that into a whole different realm, of presentation, it is exciting, for me. And of course, everything starts with, at the top, as I said before, John Wirth, is just an amazing creator and showrunner. And I've done 4 shows with John. And the last one was Hell on Wheels, which he brought to life, the entire building of the Transcontinental Railroad. And the whole 5th season was devoted to the Chinese building it, from Sacramento all the way to Promontory Point, Utah. You couldn't find a person that is so conscientious about you being represented properly. When he came to me with the show, I didn't even ask to look at the script. I trust him that much. I said, John, if you need to go to the gates of hell, I'll be right there, and welcome to Dante's Inferno. I'm ready. Because he is that kind of guy, that he will never breach your trust. He will always come to you if there's a question that he didn't know, because basically it is your story. And he is the guy who basically orchestrates that story. So in that sense, I had high expectations, and I think if you your audience had a chance to see the show, you will see that it will meet your expectations. And there's something even more important. Normally when you have this kind of show, like, a martial arts, an action adventure show, a supernatural sci-fi show that takes place in Chinatown, and in our case, it's San Francisco Chinatown. Chinatown is just a backdrop. It is where the action takes place. You don't know anything about Chinatown, nor do you care that anything about Chinatown. But in our show, Chinatown is a place where people live. Chinatown is a community. Chinatown is a place where we make our living. There are people there, and that brings me to Mr. Young, the character that I play. He is the ordinary guy among all the extraordinary people, which makes him stand out. I think that I appreciate that. The fact that, he is a man from the community. He, runs a grocery store. He's a mentor to Kai, the leading character, and not as a mentor as a martial artist, but a mentor in terms of his moral compass. What it means to be a good man, is important to me. And the fact that there is something else that is so important for me is that Mr. Young is also a Vietnam vet. I have never been involved in a film or seen, a film or television that involves an Asian American Vietnam vet. We're always the face of the enemy. But we went to war, just like anybody else. I lost a lot of friends in that war. And for me to be able to, play a character that pays homage to these guys is beyond my wildest dreams as an actor, And the fact that I have to say that is kind of weird because these guys are war heroes, like any other war hero. But do we ever see a person or character that looks like them, that are able to sit there and talk about their experience in terms of Vietnam as a veteran? I don't recall. Do you?
I can't say that I have.
Exactly. And you know what? You're a film historian. I mean, if you have the time, if you could dig up something like that, you let me know. I would love to see it. Because personally, the only thing that I could think of, there was this one film with Kiefer Sutherland about the VA hospital. And there was I believe one Asian American character who was supposed to be a vet, and he had no lines. He said nothing. All you see is this guy, But that was the last thing. That was Howie Deutsch was the director. And I don't remember at any other time, where that is properly represented. And John Wirth took the time, to write this character who happens to be an Asian American Vietnam vet. So what more do I need to say? Nothing more, really.
That's very, very cool.
Right?
Very, very cool.
All these bonuses, man.
Yeah. And Mulan, yes.
Okay, Mulan. Mulan takes us to another stage. Now you're talking about all of these projects that we've been doing of late, has been, been so kind of positive for actors of color of late because of the diversity, the Oscar So White, all of these kind of culminating in this kind of explosion of opportunities, for us, which is, so welcoming and long overdue, obviously. And Mulan adds another legitimacy factor, in terms of the legitimacy meter. It's close to, the budget of this film is close to $300 million. It's mind-boggling. There hasn't been anything like it, close in terms of commitment, financial commitment, to tell a story that's predominantly, really not even predominantly, all Asian cast. That's it. That's like somebody actually put up close to $300 million for an all right. Asian cast. Well, this is going to be a test. I'm nervous because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of commitment, from a studio,
Right.
But I personally believe that it's going to pay off like Rush Hour. It's going to be like, I think it's going to take people by surprise because you're talking about, again, it's really an all-star cast. You got Jet Li, you got Donnie Yen, you got Gong Li, right? You have Chang Pei Pei, for American audiences, really for the Crouching Tiger fame. Liu Yifei, the woman who's playing Mulan, is a star. She is phenomenal. And since I play her dad, so I have a lot of scenes with her. So I know how phenomenal she is. She's beautiful. She can move like nobody's business. And she is so in touch. All her scenes, her acting comes from such a deep place. You can't keep your eyes off of this young lady. And that's not because she's gorgeous, okay? It's nice to have a pretty face to look at, but man, there's stuff going on. when you look at it, the camera just picks all of that stuff up. You know, given, you know, and Mandy Walker, an amazing DP. You got Nikki Carroll, who is just, I could not find a more sensitive director who never raises her voice. And I just really appreciate, you know, directors who are able to come to set and create a safe environment for you to just blow it out of the waters, man. You know, you just go do it. You know, and they are so supportive. They're so trusting, and they are trusting because they cast you for a reason, and never for a minute where they place doubt in your mind. And for an actor, man, I tell you, you don't know how important that is. Once the doubt seeps in, it's a losing battle. You know, it plays tricks on you. But when you get to a set where the environment is so inducer for creating art, that's a situation you want to be in. And the fact that they're able to support this art with such, you know, tremendous amount of financial support. I tell you, a lot of times I do these films, man, it's like going into a ring, tie one hand behind your back because the budget is so low. Everything's a struggle. It's, oh my God, you know what? Can you bring some clothes? You know, because we don't have the budget for costume. You know, stuff like that. You know, oh, you know what? We really have to, you know, shoot so many scenes in a day. Otherwise, we're not going to make our day. Man, you know how hard that is. I mean, you know, then you have this added pressure of really, you know, come up with the goods. And you know what? We're not machines. Sometimes we can't come up with the goods. You know, and Mulan affords us that. Gave us the time, gave us the support. We're all going to look great. And the fact that I really appreciate the fact that Disney and Nikki and all the powers that be are following the actual legend of Mulan. That I cannot appreciate more. I mean, I cannot be more thankful that they are going to, you know, they're going to present the world with the legend of Mulan. And I can't be more proud of being a part of this particular show. And I believe the audience will really, they're in for a treat. Unless they really like stuck on Mushu, then we're kind of screwed. So for the people who are stuck on Mushu, you got to get over it, man, because there's a difference. Because Mushu is a dragon, right? I mean, so that's not exactly, you know, the mystical feminine form. I mean, so please forgive us because it is a Mulan. She is the woman warrior, not just a warrior. So really, I think that there are reasons for these things. It's not like we don't like Mushu. We love Mushu, you know, but as the guardian angel for Mulan, not exactly appropriate.
Right.
So guys, forgive us, man, you know?
Awesome. I have two more questions for you. The first is, what are some of your favorite films? And the second is, if you have any other upcoming projects to promote.
Wow. Okay. My favorite films, huh? The first one is The Seven Samurai, Kurosawa. My all-time favorite. I think that film is like just phenomenal. You know, you've seen it, right?
Oh yeah, it. I actually went to school for screenwriting, and they show that as like an essential film to watch in one of the film classes. Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, I mean, really, that film is a phenomenal. That's on top of my list. God, there's so many, dude. You're killing me. Look, I mean, The Magnificent Seven, the remake was phenomenal. Okay, with Steve McQueen and really, Cool Hand Luke is another amazing film for me. Citizen Kane is another amazing film that we all just appreciate. The Godfather, amazing film. Star Wars, you know, really, to me, I mean, I lined up for that film. So that's one of my childhood films, right? I mean, growing up. Well, not quite childhood, but anyway, just growing up. Jeez, there's so many. Who's Coming to Dinner is another one. Ragtime fantastic film. Old Man the Sea is another amazing film. You know, I mean, there's so many. Jeez, I mean, really, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. I could go on, man. I mean, you might not have enough time. I mean, really, there are a lot of all of the Ingmar Bergman films. I mean, this dude's a master. I mean, the way he tells the story, right? You know, Zhang Yimou, you know, I mean, Race a Red Lantern, you know, with Gong Li. I mean, come on, man. She's the sexiest woman alive, you know. I mean, Red Sorghum, The Departed. I mean, there's all this great stuff. I mean, Raging Bull. Holy shit. Come on. Man, I could go on and on. There's really just some fantastic Taxi Driver. I mean, really, you know, Paper Moon. I mean, come on. It's just too many to count, man. I mean, really, every generation, I think, you know, do have their filmmakers who really, you know, tell stories that last. In The Manchurian Candidate, you know, come on, man. You know, The Sting. I mean, please, you know, you're killing me. There's just so many. I love all these. I mean, these are all just amazing, amazing work of art.
Awesome. We definitely have similar taste in film. I'm a fan of all those movies. I'm actually supposed to have Paul Ben Victor on this show next month, and I'll be promoting Scorsese's new film, The Irishman, which looks awesome. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And if you have any other upcoming projects to promote.
Let's see. I just finished film for Alan Yang, you know, who it's his feature directorial debut. You know, he's the one who created Masters of None, you know, and another show I think that was for Masters of None. I think it's for Netflix, and mainly a lot of, you know, television. But this is a feature that's also for Netflix. That's going to be an interesting film. I play this character named Grover, who's kind of like, you know, Alan's dad, you know, so that's going to be another film to watch out for. I did another independent film, you know, that had no money, called A Shot Through the Wall, and that's based on a true story about a Chinese American cop who accidentally killed an African American man in the projects in New York about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was a kind of an interesting film that needs to be seen by the public. The Chinese, let me clarify, it's a Chinese American rookie cop whose gun misfired, you know, on a call in the projects in Brooklyn, New York, and the bullet bounced off from one floor onto a wall to the next floor and killed the African American man. And the unfortunate thing was that, you know, that it really created this kind of conflict and schism between the African American and Asian American community in New York City. And unfortunately for this young man, he was convicted for manslaughter. So now he's a young man's life ruined, you know, as a convicted felon. And it's also a film about interracial relationship, which I think it's kind of interesting for audience to see, you know. So that's another film that I'm really excited. Hopefully it will get the time of day to be seen by people. And I think there's some fine performances from that film. Treadstone, you know, on USA Network. That's going to happen, I think, soon, in a couple of months. And that's a Jason Bourne story as a television series. So that's kind of exciting with an international cast. Yeah, those are. I think that's about it. Wu Assassins, Mulan, The Farewell's in the theaters right now. So if you guys are interested in seeing again, when it first came out, it was 100% Rotten Tomato. Now it's like 99. So we slipped a little bit. So you all gotta go and give us some more positive reviews to put it back up to 100. So, and that's another amazing film with Awkwafina. You know, she carries this film. I mean, she's the main character in a dramatic role. You know, that the public don't know how good of an actor she is. Another Asian American filmmaker, Lulu Huang, story based on her life. So really, there's some. It can't be happier, my friend. Can't be happier.
Awesome. Well, Ty, it has been a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise.
I would love to have you on the show again anytime. Thank you so much for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
My pleasure, and I would do it anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. You have a wonderful week.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right, then.
Bye.
Bye.